Hey y'all, it's Troy here with another video, and first I wanted to say thank you for all of you who've been subscribing to our channel, and just recently have been saying how you've missed some of the videos because it's been just a little bit since we've made some more. Matthew and I have got some more plans for more videos up and coming. Some of you have been asking for him to do some solo efforts. We might just get to that, so that's in the works. We've been really busy here with between back to school for the kids, the job, and some projects that have been spinning up. Our church activities here lately, and just life in general. So we'll be back in the saddle. Plus, I've scaled back some of my pen acquisitions. I know I've got at least two more that are on the way, and I've got a few more that I've actually thrown in bids on eBay. So we'll see what happens with those. But we had our 250 subscriber giveaway, and we've since added a bunch more subscribers even since then. But what I wanted to do was let you guys know and congratulate, see if I get the name right, Marcos Tanizaka, T-A-N-I Zaka. All right, but he's from Brazil. So he was our winner that we chose at random in our 250 subscriber giveaway. So get up to 1,000. We'll see about giving another giveaway. So let's see. I've been asked more than once what my favorite pen was. And it's really tough to answer. And I know that a lot of folks who are doing reviews like this or are fountain pen guys get asked the same question. What I wanted to toss out to you is that I don't really have one favorite. I have a group of favorites.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
What I've been doing a lot here lately is I've been putting away a lot of the pens that I've gotten. Just yesterday, I had one that I thought was really running out of ink. As it turned out, it just really wrote crappily on the paper that I was using at the time. Little side note. Post-it notes are not very fountain pen friendly. So, although I've written on it with fountain pens previously, different pens, and not had a problem. Just this particular pen really didn't like that paper. So I retired my Lamy 99 after flushing that out, and went to go use another one just this morning. And, well, it's just about out of ink. One of my old Esterbrook's. Oh, really? Okay, fine, so let's go get that flushed out. Went to go replace it with Monteverde, and doggone it, the ink's just about out of it. And I can't tell you how many pens here recently have gone to where I'm just about out of ink, and I'm just at the end of it. It's like, oh, all right, flush them out. So what I've been making a policy of flush it and just set it aside, and just keeping some that I know that I really want to use more so than others, keep them around. So let me throw out some of my favorites here for you. It's no secret that I'm a fan of Waterman in general, and one of my first pens that really got me interested in fountain pens was a Waterman. And you've probably seen this on the beginning of my videos some time ago, but the Waterman Karen is amongst my favorites. I've got one, my wife has got one, and I just really enjoy the Waterman Karen. And this pen I've seen retail for up to about $300. This particular one is a medium nib, blue with the gold trim. It was gorgeous. I fell in love with it when I first saw it, and the first time I wrote with it, it was buttery smooth, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So that's one of my favorites. All right. I know some people don't like Visconti. Some people like them, some people hate them. My experience with Visconti has been limited. I've used their Van Gogh series, two different ones, and I've used their medium and their fine nibs. I have on my wish list some more Visconti. I was just listening to somebody who I know and respect who hates Visconti and just really doesn't like them. But, Visconti, Van Gogh series irises. There's actually another couple of their Van Gogh series that I really liked. I wouldn't mind getting, but I'll be honest with you. I'm not the kind who I've got to have one of every one within a series. If I get one that I like within a series and I like it, I'll pretty much stick with it and I'll be happy. So that doesn't mean like a Waterman I won't get different models within Waterman. I got a drawer full of them for that very reason. I do like that. But I don't know if I'll get another Van Gogh. I don't know. But I do like this one. And at first I had a fine nib in it. Wasn't totally impressed with it, so I put a medium nib in it, and I like it. It's a good quality nib, and it writes very well, and I am so far thus happy with my Visconti irises. I bought this pen off from a collector who was divesting and paring down his collection. I do like the Delta Dolce Vita Federico. It's got a broad nib. It's one of the few broads that I've got in my collection, and it writes very smooth. The only thing I didn't like about it is sometimes it's got a little hard start, but once it gets going, it's great, and it writes a nice thick. I inked it up with some black ink. Love it. So that's another one of my favorites in my collection. My understanding is Delta is on their way out. They won't be around very much longer. Italian pen manufacturers sometimes don't seem to be doing great. Omos is gone. Delta will soon be gone. I've heard some critiques of some of Delta as well, that perhaps they're not as great as they could have been. Let's see, what else is in my collection that I like? One that's, as soon as I wrote with it, I was shocked at how good it was. I'd been wanting a Parker Vacuumatic for quite a while. So I picked up this one at the DC Pen Show, and it's a beautiful pen. I didn't pay as much as I've seen some Vacuumatics priced at. Quite honestly, I've got a bid on another one on eBay. Don't tell my wife that. So I wouldn't mind adding to it. It's got the little blue diamond, and I wrote with this thing the first time that night after the pen show, and I was like, wow. I was totally impressed. And it's got a little flex to the nib, and it writes fantastic, even though it's kind of a finer point. Writes great, holds a lot of ink, smooth writer, and it feels good in the hand, even though it's a little smaller pen than I traditionally or usually like to have. I've also talked about how I like Esterbrook's. I've shown this one several times. This is just an Esterbrook desk set. This sits in their classic 8-ball holder that sits on my desk, just like this, 24 hours a day. It's my grab it and write pen if I've got to scribble something really quick. I always have my pen of the day sitting on the desk, but that's one of my go-tos as well. Another one of my favorites, the TWSBI Eco. $30 pen. Writes fantastic. It's a demonstrator, and its big brother, the 580 AL. I kind of like it as well, so that's another one of my favorites. TWSBI, kind of hard to go wrong. I like demonstrator pens, sort of. They're kind of growing on me. Speaking of demonstrator pens, let me throw this out to you. I've talked for quite a while about giving pens away. I got a bunch of, these are just simply Jinhao 992s in a multi-pack. These showed up just the other day, and I've already given some away. So I've been giving a lot of inexpensive pens away, because that's how you get people hooked, and maybe they'll develop their favorite pen after a while. Let's see, another one. This one here. As soon as I played with it and touched it, loved it. I had wanted a Vanishing Point from Pilot for quite a while. I went to the Raleigh Pen Show back in June. I knew what they were going for brand new. This one here was slightly used, so I got a decent deal on it. And the lady inked it up, and it was buttery smooth. Could not believe how well that wrote. I was instantly in love. Whipped money out of my pocket right then and there at the table, because I had budgeted money to bring, and there you go. Early on in my pen collecting, it was recommended that I get a Pilot Metropolitan and a Lamy 2000 by some folks, and so I picked up a Lamy 2000, and that semi-hooded nib. This is, like I said, I didn't know what to think about them. I only had one bottle of ink at the time. Put it in this pen, and it sucked. I hated it. So, I bought a better bottle of ink and flushed it out, put good ink in it, and it wrote great. It was horrible before. It was my first piston filler. I'd never touched a piston filler before. I'd only ever used a cartridge or a converter with a fountain pen. Had never ever used a piston until I got this one. So I was a piston virgin at the time. So anyway, that's another one of my favorites, and that always stays in my rotation. Good, solid, all-around pen, hard to go wrong. One that's kind of grown on me, I guess, here recently. It didn't take long for it though. Is my latest acquisition thus far is my is my Schaefer snorkel, and this one actually wrote better than I thought it was going to. It was a fine nib, and it actually wrote very, very well. I just did a video on that a little bit ago, and I do like it. It is now amongst my favorites, so I do consider that in that category for me. Notice I've got a mixture of new pens and vintage pens here. Kind of hard not to throw in the Mont Blanc 149. It was not amongst my favorites when I first got it. Got it at the DC Pen Show just about a month ago, and it wrote terribly. Spent a little time, got the ink flowing properly on the nib, and from there I did a little bit of smoothing. Thought it wrote okay, and then I said, nah, I can do better. Went back, did a little more smoothing, and now this writes very, very sweet, buttery smooth. So it just took a little bit of time and, quite honestly, the guts to do it, because I didn't want to mess up a Mont Blanc. You know, it's one thing to play with $1 pen, $3 pens, $5 pens, and smooth out those nibs. It's another thing to do it on a Mont Blanc. So those are my favorites. What I'll do is I won't show you me writing on with each of these, but what I will do is I'll give you a writing sample on a piece of paper, and I'll scan it and I'll put it up here so you can see what each of them write like, and you can see possibly the inks and the differences in the inks, and you can get an idea for maybe some colors that you would like to have as well. So anyway, just a quick video. Just wanted to cover some of my favorites. My pen of the day today, I'll throw this out for you, is a Waterman CF, which stands for cartridge filler. I've shown this before. I've given one of these to a friend of mine, and he loves it. So this is a medium flex nib. It writes very well, and if you look at my Instagram account, you'll see where this was my pen of the day. So TroyLaPlante.com if you want to find all of my social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and links to this YouTube channel, and various ways as well. So you can find my Instagram account that way, or just look for Troy LaPlante Sr. Because, you know, even though he's my son, we call him Matthew, he's actually a junior. So, all right, that answers my question. What are some of my what is my favorite? Short answer, I don't have just one favorite. I have a group of pens. That doesn't mean I don't use others. For instance, I pulled out just a Jinhao 159 knockoff of the Mont Blanc 149. Love the pen, works great, fantastic writer for a $3 pen. Well, it's another one of those that ran out of ink, so I just flushed it out and put it up. So I still use lower price pens. Most of these, you notice there's a good price range. Multiple hundreds, and $30 on, I think, on the low end of what's sitting here on my desk right now. And well, maybe I paid a little less than that even for my Esterbrook, just because I got a good deal on them. And I see, if you try to get them now, some places are selling that desk set for like $75. I managed to get that for a whole lot less than that. So good variety of pens that are within my favorites. I still use inexpensive pens. I still use Jinhaos. I think all my Bowers have been flushed and put up, but by and large, most of my pens are in a moderate price range, and some in the upper price range that are within my favorites. I've got more coming eventually, so we'll find out. I got a Danny Trio that should be coming. I think I've got another Pilot that should be coming. And I've got another vintage Lamy, that are actually 3 vintage Lamys that I put bids on, hoping to be able to snag at least one of them. So we'll see where all that goes, and once I get those, I'll share those with you. And when I can actually sit down with Matthew and get together some video material for him and get his thoughts organized, so he can sit here and present some information to you on a pen review like we've been asked to do, we'll start doing that as well. So, hey, I appreciate you watching. Thank you for following us. I'm honored that you people would sit and watch some schlub like me talk about a fountain pen hobby, and that you would actually spend the time. That is humbling, and I'm very thankful for that.
I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel